Okay, guys, welcome to episode 4. You've actually stuck with me for 4 whole episodes. That is amazing. Thank you so much. So, today, money saving expertise. You already know what the drill is now. I don't need to tell you what our platform is. Money saving expertise tip for the 4th episode. Buying reduced items at the supermarket. You know when you get those little yellow stickers, reduced, get me quick, go before I'm gone, that sort of stuff. Well, they're brilliant because they're still good food, they're still good quality goods, especially if you go down that middle aisle in the Lidls and the Aldis of the world where, you know, get me before I go, and they're reduced because there's a bit of a scuff on a box or something like that, or a returned item. But mainly the foods, service product area where it's, you know, get your salads, get your meat, and it's sometimes 40, 50% off. So that's great. And everyone goes, well, we know what to do there, Carl. Why are you telling us that? Well, the reason why I'm telling you that is because do you know the best times to go? That's the important part of it. So I'm going to read a little bit here because I'm reading a bit online and I'm giving you the Google version of all of this so you don't have to go searching for it. So here we go. So forgive me for not looking at you just for this 1 second. Aldi and Lidl. The best time to go for Aldi and Lidl is 8 a.m., 8 o'clock in the morning. You can go before work. You can go before you're walking the dog, before you've got to clean up that mess that they make and empty your dog treat pouch. Like I know some of my friends are doing that at the moment. So sorry about that, guys. Shout out to you. Clear your pouch. Sounds a bit ominous, doesn't it? Clear your pouch. Right? Before you get home today, guys, I want you to clear your pouch and fill it with the reduced items from Aldi and Lidl at 8 o'clock in the morning. Asda, different, contrasting, 7 p.m. So go about 7 o'clock at night and you'll see the people with the little gilets on and the little green t-shirts and the little hats, and they'll be there with the little yellow stickers, and you'll see about 500 people swamping them. So, you know, you've got to get there on time. Snooze, you lose. And then finally, we've got Morrison's, Tesco's and Sainsbury's. Their best time to go is round about 6 p.m. So if you did it well, you could make it to Aldi, Lidl, Asda, Morrison's, Tesco's and Sainsbury's all in the same day and shop for all these reduced items, all if they're all within a close proximity to each other, which where I live in a place called Wirral, absolutely you can. In a place called Birkenhead, we've got an Aldi, a Lidl and an Asda within 5 minutes drive of each other. And if you don't drive, Aldi and Asda are within 5-minute walk. So that is the money saving tip out the way. And of course, I know that's not why you come to my podcast. So let's get into the meat of it now. The money making part. Here. So many of you don't necessarily know this, but there are networking groups out there that specialize in certain products or services. So I run a property networking group in Liverpool called Progressive Property Network. You're never going to guess what we talk about in that network. Okay, maybe you will. It's property, right? Not just the sort of standard buy-to-let property or the HMOs, that's house with multiple occupants. I think I covered that in a previous episode. But it's also things like commercial buildings. It's things like flats, apartment blocks. It's serviced accommodation, like your Airbnb. That's what I mean by serviced accommodation. And you go, well, Carl, you know what? I can't afford to buy any of that stuff. Why the hell are we talking about property? Well, you can actually make money from property without owning a single bit of it. Let me tell you how. Let's imagine for a second that you are living on a street, a council estate in the middle of Birkenhead, which is where I come from, and it's where I grew up, a council estate in the middle of Birkenhead. And it's filled with houses, 100, 150 houses in a street. Some of those houses will be bought. If any of you are old enough to remember Margaret Thatcher, she brought in the right to buy scheme from the council. So basically, if you had a house that you rented from the council back in the 80s and 90s, you could basically buy it from the council at a discount, sometimes 40, 50%. So a lot of those people bought those houses, did them up, got double glazing and so on. So you can usually tell where they are. And then they gave it to their kids when they passed away or moved into retirement, or maybe they're still in there now. So imagine you've got this house. Next door to you, or next door but 5 to you, you've got Dave. And Dave, unfortunately, has gone through a divorce with his wife. And Dave is very cash poor, but he's got a house and he needs to sell it because he's got to pay legal bills, or because he's got to move away, or because the house is worth quite a lot of money and his wife's been given a court order that says, well, she's entitled to half of that and he doesn't have that cash spare. So there's lots of reasons why people might need to sell their property very quickly. Let's imagine that a house is worth £100,000, but you can't afford to spend a huge amount of time waiting to get that £100,000, like putting it up on an estate agent. They come round in a week, then they photograph it, then they put it on their portal in a week, then they put it on Rightmove. When it's on Rightmove, they've got to have viewings. That's another week or two of viewings. Then somebody says they're going to buy it. Then there's a solicitor. Then it takes 3 weeks to get a mortgage agreed. Then it takes 5 months for the solicitor to move a piece of paper from here to here. Then they eventually get the purchase and it's taken 5 months. Well, some people, they just don't have 5 months. So how does this apply to you? Imagine you know that guy. Imagine you know Dave, and Dave says to you, listen, Carl, I have got to get my house sold. I'm at my wit's end. I've got to pay 50 grand to my wife. I don't have the money to do it. How am I going to get this done? How am I going to get this over the line quickly so I can move on with the rest of my life? Well, if you're really smart and you listen to the Lazy Wealth Creation podcast, which of course you do, and you are, what you can do is you can contact people like me directly. We can go in, we can speak to Dave, we can offer to buy his house at a discount, but we can buy it within 28 days. Imagine that. Imagine Dave walking out with £80,000. Oh, wait a minute, Carl, didn't you say 100 grand? Yes, I did. But what happens is when somebody is trying to sell their house quickly, we go in as a cash buyer because we've got the cash ready right now. We can end your suffering. We can end your worries. We can get money in your account. Usually within 28 days, but very, very typically, it's actually 14 days. Imagine that. 2 weeks, property sold, headache gone. We can do that. We buy that, though, at a discount because we're a cash buyer and we can do it quickly. And it costs us a little bit of money to do that a little bit quicker. So we buy the 100 grand house for 80 grand. Dave walks away happy. He gives 50k to his wife. He's got 30k in his pocket. He's not had to pay any fees to the estate agent, so he saved at least £1,000 there. What happens then? How does that benefit you? This is the interesting bit. Who introduced me to that deal? You. So, isn't it only right that you get a little bit of gratitude, a little bit of a thank you for that as well? Absolutely it is, because this is the Lazy Wealth Creation. All you've got to do, pick up the phone, pick up an email, send it to me as an inbox on Facebook Messenger, reply to me on YouTube, whatever channel you want to do. You can bring the deal to me. And if that deal gets done and we buy that property, you get 500 quid just for picking up the phone, just for having that conversation with us to tell us to go and have a look. You get 500 quid for that. Imagine you get 5 people in a month doing that. You got 2.5 grand cash in your account just from me. Now I'm going to share some really interesting, juicy stuff for you. Imagine there was a property network available out there. Like, I don't know, let's make something up like, Progressive Property Network Liverpool. Let's imagine you go, you get a free ticket, totally free. You come to that event. You tell that event, all the people there, there's property investors there, there's landlords there, there's people who are insurance specialists, lawyers, there's all kinds of people invested in property there. You come in and you say, I've got this house, it's 100 grand the fella is saying that it's worth, but he needs the house to be sold immediately and he's willing to take a significant reduction in price, but I've got a finder's fee of 500 quid. Imagine 20 people in a room are going to want to talk to you. Why are they going to want to talk to you? Because of course they're going to get the property. You can't afford the property just yet. That's okay. But what you've just got is 10 people coming up to you saying, I'll give you 500 quid or I'll give you a little bit more even if you sell me that deal. I'd be happy to talk to you. So, moral of this story is you can buy reduced items from the supermarket That's great. That'll save you a couple of quid. You can keep your ears open and your eyes open. Look around for these people who are going to need to get rid of their properties quickly. What if they're getting repossessed? It's a horrible thing to talk about, I know. But some people, they haven't been able to afford their mortgage payments and they're falling behind because interest rates have risen and so on. Okay? We could help those people stop getting into debt, stop any bankruptcy proceedings, stop repossession orders for their property, give them a cash payout within 28 days, and then we could even rent the property back to them so they don't have to leave it until they're ready to move out. We could solve their problems, and the most important part for you is you get paid. So, let's recap. Money reduced items in the supermarket are wonderful. I can save you 50p. If you come and you find me some properties and you come to my event at Progressive Property Network Liverpool, or you message me, DM me, however you want, send a carrier pigeon if you have to, come to me, I'll give you 500 quid for every single deal that we get over the line. How's that for money making? So, thanks very much for tuning in this week, guys. I look forward to seeing you on the other side.